Mercedes Vega was a gorgeous 22-year-old woman living in the Aubrey apartment complex in Arizona. She worked 2 times a week as an exotic dancer, but her big dream was to become a personal trainer. Mercedes had a very close relationship to her parents, Tom and Erica Pillsbury, and she also had a lot of really good friends. Mercedes was known to be the go-to person. You could call her in the middle of the night and she would be there for you. She was very loving, caring, and funny and had a great sense of humor. She had also just returned from Hawaii, where she celebrated her 22nd birthday with some friends. Mercedes loved Hawaii so much and told her mom that her soul belonged there. She wanted her future kids to spread her ashes there. She had the best time in Hawaii, and she would go for walks on the beach where she would watch the birds and the beautiful flowers. She went on the hiking Diamond Head, the Dukes, and she even went snorkeling. On April 16th, 2023, Mercedes was supposed to go out for dinner at the Dave & Buster's with some friends. But her plans changed abruptly when she had to go to work. She is seen on camera entering the parking garage in her apartment complex. And after that, nobody ever saw Mercedes again. On April 17th at 1 a.m., a man called 911 and reported seeing a car on fire on the I-10 highway in Tonopah.
April 17th, 2023.
I was trying to report a car fire up on the side of I-10, and I saw flames literally inside the.
He explained that the flames they came from inside the car, and a man was circling around the burning car. The police arrived at the scene and discovered a body in the back seat. The fire was put out and the body was sent to the medical examiner's office, where the body was identified as being Mercedes Vega. She had blunt force trauma to her head. She had bleach in her throat. She had a gunshot wound in her right arm, and she had lighter fluid concentrated on her face and hands. They said that Mercedes was burned alive and she died from smoke inhalation. The bottle with lighter fluid was found on the back seat next to Mercedes. And outside the car, they found gloves and a bottle with bleach. When the police went to the parking garage in her apartment complex, they noticed that Mercedes' car was gone. They also found blood and tissue on the ground. The car Mercedes was found in didn't belong to her. It was a 2018 white Chevrolet Malibu. Mercedes' car was found a few hours later, parked illegally and with the keys in the ignition. It was parked next to the culinary dropout. The police didn't release much information, and the person or people who did this to Mercedes has still not been found. They did say that they had footage of her car being parked, but they never released any information of the person parking the car. It doesn't make any sense. It's been more than a year, and they still didn't make any arrests. I tried to look into this case, but I'm telling you it was not easy, because there's not a lot of information out there. But I did find the car that was set on fire, the 2018 white Chevrolet Malibu. It had been in an accident and was sold on an auction. It was sold on January 13th, 2023, so 3 months before it was set on fire. First of all, the car had not been reported stolen. Second of all, who spends $4,175 on this car and then spends God only knows how many dollars on repairing the car just to set it on fire 3 months later? It doesn't make sense. In front of the car, they found bleach and gloves. First of all, if they're burning the car anyway, then why not put the bottle of bleach and the gloves inside the car so all evidence are burned? Why leave it outside? And what kind of gloves did they find? Because if it's latex, you can find fingerprints inside the gloves. And latex gloves can be so thin that when you touch something, you're gonna leave your fingerprint anyway. Did they check that? From Mercedes' apartment complex to the area where she was found in the burning car, they must have driven by so many street cameras. Did the police check them? Because they could be lucky and see a picture of the driver. And if they checked them, why didn't they release any footage? So the public might be able to help find these people. I see some different theories about what could have happened here. But before I tell you, I want to remind you that the police did not release a lot of information in this case. So my thoughts and theories are based on all the things I've seen and read about this case. So go do your own research and form your own opinions. The first thing I did is that I looked up Aubrey apartment complex online to check out their reviews. And I got very concerned about the people living there. There would be homeless people and criminal people walking in and out of the complex and the parking garage because the gates had been broken, so it was open to everybody. And a woman, she also says she was being chased by 3 men in a car in the parking garage. She was terrified and she complained to the manager, but nothing was done about it. And I saw another woman that said that she just didn't feel safe there. And then I remembered that Mercedes, she actually told someone that she felt like she was being watched. Is it possible that some bad people could have been working there? And when they saw their chance, they attacked her in the parking garage and kidnapped her. I do want to say that the Aubrey apartment complex has been sold since Mercedes, she was kidnapped and murdered. So the owners and the staff that's working there now is not the same people that was working there when Mercedes lived there. It's just information. But I did read that some of the old staff members, they were really arrogant, and some of them were really rude and didn't help people at all. They were being very rude. The next theory I want to tell you about, I have to put out a trigger warning because this one can be really tough to hear, and I apologize in advance. It's only a theory. I'm thinking that someone knew about her job. They might even have gone to the club where she worked and saw her dancing. They decided to kidnap her and drive her over the Mexican border and force her into sex trafficking. But Mercedes could have been fighting like hell in the car, and maybe she even tried to run away. But when she tried to run away, they shot at her and she was shot in the arm. But I'm also thinking that when they set the car on fire, maybe they were watching her burn inside the car and Mercedes was trying to get out, and when they saw she was trying to get out, they shot into the car and hit her in the right arm. I didn't see the car, so I don't know if there's any bullet holes or a broken window or anything in the car. I'm just thinking maybe they were shooting at her to keep her inside the car. I'm also thinking that this could be someone who admired her that she rejected. It could be a customer at the club where she was dancing, someone she was dating, or maybe an ex-boyfriend. Because her mother said that the lighter fluid was concentrated on her face and on her hands. And my personal opinion is that the lighter fluid that was on her hands, that was probably her trying to get it off her face. So I don't think that the lighter fluid on the hands have any meaning, but the lighter fluid on her face is very personal. Someone was trying to destroy her beauty. It could have been a woman that was jealous of her. It could also be a man thinking, if I can't have you, nobody can. I have one last theory that's so confusing that I can hardly make sense of it myself. The same question keeps popping up in my head again and again, and it's driving me nuts. Why didn't they just leave Mercedes' car in the parking garage? Why did they drive it to the culinary dropout? Was it to stage and make it look like she actually did go out for dinner? Was it to get the attention away from the apartment complex about a kidnapping and a murder? Or did they go there to pick up something or someone? There must be a camera that's recording different angles in that parking garage. and also a camera that records who's coming and who's going. So what about that footage? And then I'm thinking, someone must have known she was gonna leave her apartment at exactly that time. That means that she was set up by someone. And I'm wondering if the police released the phone records and her online searches to her parents. Because I feel like the last 2 hours before she was kidnapped, it's really important to know who she was communicating with and who she was talking to. Maybe that could put the puzzle together. Because someone definitely knew that she was going out. How many people do you know that goes out for dinner that late at night? I don't think this was a coincidence. I think Mercedes, she was targeted and she was set up by someone who knows her. And just as I'm sitting here putting my video together, I just saw something online that I have to share with you. On April 1st, 2024, a young man's body was found inside a burning car in a river in Phoenix. The police said that he was murdered. Is it possible that that could be related to what happened to Mercedes? They have now arrested 2 brothers for the murder. I'm just thinking, how often do you hear about people being burned inside cars? Before I end today's video, there's something that I want to say. While I've been working on this case, it became very clear to me that Mercedes Vega, she was a very special young woman. She's missed every single day by family and friends.
Wednesday marks 1 year since Erica and Tom Pillsbury lost their daughter.
I do believe that there's more to the story than what they're telling us.
Parents and loved ones of Mercedes Vega still grieving and searching for answers.
There's no reason why a year later we should have nothing.
What they do know is Mercedes was murdered.
My child is dead. She was burned alive. She was beaten. She had bleach in her throat. Someone who can do something like that to a 22-year-old beautiful young woman is less than human.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says Mercedes was found inside a burning car off I-10 near Tonopah, but that car wasn't her own. Family says Mercedes' car was found dumped here in this area near First and Farmer in Tempe. MCSO says it was found about a mile from where she was living.
It's hard to put into words. It's hard to believe she's gone.
Mercedes' family believes some of her last moments were caught on camera in her apartment's parking garage, even showing a surveillance video that's now seen on flyers. The group hanging them during their walk on Wednesday.
I miss my daughter so much. I'm angry. I'm frustrated.
As family and friends demand action and better communication from MCSO, the Sheriff's Office releasing a few new details Tuesday, learning through interviews that Mercedes had abruptly canceled plans the night before she was found dead, apparently telling someone she was going to work. Her family tells us Mercedes worked as a dancer at a club a few nights a week. The Sheriff's Office saying for the first time they also have surveillance video from where Mercedes' car was found.
I've always said to her I got her back. It will not become yesterday's news.
Her family and friends say they won't stop fighting, describing Mercedes as giving and a light to the world.
Everyone today is matching Mercedes' loyalty.
She just did not deserve this. She deserves justice.
The Maricopa County Sheriff in a statement Wednesday saying he's outraged by the murder and investigators are collaborating with local and federal agencies to pursue justice. MCSO also saying this week they have executed search warrants on numerous accounts and devices, but still no arrests. There is a $2,000 silent witness reward for information.
It's been more than a year and the police still didn't name any suspects. I just feel like this case shouldn't be that hard to solve. There must be tons of footage of the people involved in this. There must be footage from the parking garage, from the culinary dropout, and from the culinary dropout to the area where the car was found burned with Mercedes inside. There's 60 miles. Can you imagine how many street cameras that they drove by? They must also know who bought that Chevy Malibu only 3 months before Mercedes she was kidnapped and murdered. And if they could find her ID by using her fingerprints, did they find DNA under her nails? Why is the police so quiet and why are they not releasing any footage, information or anything to her family or the public? Who did this? In my opinion, pouring bleach into someone's throat and then burning them alive inside a car, that sounds like a cartel. But pouring lighter fluid in her face, that sounds like jealousy, like someone wanted to take her beauty away from her. I am begging you, if you know something, please say something. Her family, they need to find some closure and start healing. Justice for Mercedes Vega.